This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
That happens to me all the time. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Feeling good. Oh, how are you?
Very good. So I was talking with Safid there, and I think this Belichick greatest of all time, I think we've jumped the gun on this a little bit. Okay? So I'm going to run this by you. Joe Gibbs won 3 championships with 3 different quarterbacks. None of them are Hall of Famers. Shula went to Super Bowls with 3 different types of quarterbacks in Woodstock, Greasy, and Marino, right? And so obviously Belichick gets the label because of the 6 titles, because nobody has 6 titles. But you did it with one guy, the same guy. And now you can't even win. You can't even make the playoffs without the guy. You can't even win a playoff game. So do we give him the greatest of all time label because of the 6 titles, or do we have to wait? Because for me, I got to see you actually have some serious success finding another quarterback, bro. And if you can't find another one, I think that's kind of a stain on who you are. You are the greatest defensive mind, I'll give you that. But I don't know about the greatest head coach, bro, because like Phil Jackson goes to 2 different teams. Pat Riley gets to the finals with 3 different teams. You know, to me, that's when a guy starts to show me that they are an absolute difference maker when they're doing. Bro, Pat Riley is still building teams in 2023. I mean, not as only as a coach, but as a GM. This guy's been a GM now for decades now. You know what I'm saying? So that greatness, all-time greatness label, does he deserve it, or does he have to do something with someone else in your eyes?
Well, I mean, it's funny because as I was watching the game Sunday night, I was thinking along the same lines as you that, you know, it's pretty telling that without Brady, he just hasn't been able to have much success at all. He's basically a 500 coach. And, you know, obviously that we've seen a lot of other coaches in multiple sports win championships without a star quarterback or without a star point guard or without, you know, some sort of deficiency. And so, yes, I think without question, I think it puts a stain on Belichick's legacy. And I think when we start seeing, you know, 30 for 30s and all those kind of documentaries down the road, for as great as Bill Belichick is with all those rings and the great defenses he built, I think there's no way you can ignore the fact that he just hasn't done it without Tom Brady.
Right. I mean, that's the part to me that bothers me a little bit about that. It's like, yo, bro, I need
Yeah,
to do something else, man. Someone else.
absolutely.
You know? It's like it can't be only your whole thing is Tom Brady, and then Brady goes to Tampa, makes you look like shit.
Really shows you just how great he was, right? To win a Super Bowl with that franchise, and they've, you know, I know they're gotten off to a good start this year, but it's not the same thing, dude.
No,
It's not the same
they're
thing,
not going anywhere. I mean, yeah, great, they're
right?
2-0, but come on, bro, they're not going anywhere. And so it's just that's my problem with all of this, and I think it's kind of lazy. I get it, bro. He's got 6 titles. Nobody has 6 titles, but
Right.
The Joe Gibbs accomplishment still to this day, and I'm a Shula guy, but the greatest accomplishment by any head coach, 3 championships with 3 different quarterbacks. That proves to me that you had the system, the ultimate system, because your system, you could actually change the quarterback. Nobody's been able to do that, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody. That is sick. And then he goes to auto racing.
Right. And have success there. Yeah.
No, he
It's
doesn't have success. He freaking dominates, bro. I
yeah.
mean, he's a stud. He's just as good as he was in football. And it just shows me that Joe Gibbs was at another level, dude. Just at
Yeah.
another level, man, you know? Anyway, you know what's nice to see? It's nice to see that the Canes are at another level.
Yep.
What they had been the last couple of years and what they were last year for Mario Cristobal, the change and looking at like a team that actually looks responsible out there. I gotta say, Manny, it's been a real pleasure the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, and look, if you look at some of the numbers now and where Miami rates offensively, I mean, I think they've got the number 1 graded quarterback, the number 1 graded running back, and the number 1 graded receiver in the ACC this year. You think back to last year, how they struggled to just get to 20 points in some games. And for Mario to sort of identify the problem and then go out and find somebody who could really fix it and really get Miami back on the right page. You got to be able to score points in today's college football world. And I know, we grew up in an era down here where defense is dominated. In the end, that's what's going to win championships, right? When you can stop the other team. But
Sure.
but you need to score points. And this program would not be 3-0 right now if it didn't have Tyler Van Dyke back. They would not be 3-0 right now if they didn't have Xavier Restrepo playing at a high level. And they wouldn't be 3-0 if they didn't have those running backs sort of by committee just playing great. So that had to be fixed, and they did it, and mission accomplished. And I think they're going to be one of the best offenses in the country this year.
Yeah, no, and listen, both sides, defensively and offensively, both coordinators, you can just tell it's a monster upgrade from what we've been watching for the last couple of years. Well coached now. It's what we're seeing. There's actually a method behind the madness. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and really, I mean, I think on the defensive end, that's the area that you look at on paper and you say, okay, that's still an area where you hope he can recruit better and get more elite, type guys and win, pass rushing battles, get to the quarterback. Like when you think about where Miami is, what they could finish this year, and then okay, how do you get to the playoff? How do you become a championship program? I think defensive tackle, defensive line. I think cornerback, those are areas that, he's got some guys that have come in as transfers that have done a good job, but you want to get to that Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State level where you're in it every single year and this is sustained success. That's the areas where he's trying to recruit, and he's doing it. He's addressing it. He's got one of the best. He just got one of the best 2025 defensive linemen in the country who could end up moving up a class to 2024. So he's addressing it and he's trying, and they're going to get there. But there's no doubt this season is going to be a lot of fun for Miami fans, and even more, even better than what I expected.
Well, there's a domino effect to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find the staff, obviously. You got to start winning. And then when you start winning, you're going to get a couple kids because you're Mario Cristobal and you're going to win over parents and you're going to win over kids because they're going to see there's no bullshit in you and all that. So they're going to love that part. Okay. But eventually you're going to get the all the kids that you really want once you start. We've talked about this. Once you start winning,
Yep.
and then once you start actually proving that guys are going to the NFL, then they're going to line up for. I mean, that's what Deion Sanders in a very short time. That's what he's doing. The fact that he went and turned an absolutely dormant program from nothing to absolutely something. Then all of a sudden now he's going to have 4 and 5-star guys lined up outside there in Boulder, going, "Hey, I want to play for you." And that's what Mario has to get. And I think like you just said, he just signed a big why? Because now they're watching that, okay, wait a minute, this is not the same University of Miami we've been
Right.
watching the last couple of years. These guys are actually being coached up the right way now.
Yeah, and they need to see it. It's sort of that prove it factor, right? Like not just talk about it, but show me, and that's really important for a lot of the elite guys if they're going to jump on board. You mentioned the NFL. Oh, I was going to use this in my podcast, and I'm recording shortly. 20 Hurricanes on NFL rosters. 8 of them are starters right now. Remember back when there were 20 Pro Bowlers on NFL rosters from Miami. So yeah, he needs to sort of get everything sort of rolling, and getting this program back to where it was. And certainly I think he's done a good job in the transfer portal, finding guys, and I think helping getting them drafted here is going to help the program big time in the year to come. A guy like Jaden Davis, who comes home from Oklahoma where he really wasn't that good of a player. Well, guess what? He's playing at an elite level right now for Miami, one of the best cornerbacks in the country. That's going to help Mario when it comes to bringing talent back home and saying, hey, look, here's an example. Here's a Jaden Davis. This is what we can do for your career if you come home.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of fun to see them turn the corner. I'm happy for Mario, and you could tell that he's loosening up a little bit more now because there's less stress around him in that sense of what he's watching on the field. Obviously, there's a lot of stress to stay on it. And the good thing is now 3 games in, this is the best part, Manny. I start to look at that schedule and I start to say, you can win most of these games, dude. If you start playing like this, and I expect you to get better. The The one thing we've been wanting is certain areas of this team to turn the corner, like the offensive line. That is turning the corner, and you start winning on the O and D lines, sky's the limit. And right now, I am now starting to feel really good about 8 and 9 wins, which I was more in the 7 to 8 area. Now I'm going, hey, maybe we can push it up to 9, and who knows, maybe we can get to 10.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's going to probably depend some on health and can you keep, can you
Right.
keep guys, those three defensive line starters, can you keep those guys healthy the rest of the year, etc. But you're right. I think, the goals certainly move up. I think I'm looking at the ESPN Power Index right now. They've got them at 9.7 wins for projection. So 9 to 10 wins is what they expect, the analytics nerds and all that stuff. So, I mean, they've got a chance. They've got a chance to get to the ACC championship game, but I think health is going to ultimately tell the story here.
Yeah, big time. All right, Temple. I'm not expecting a major challenge, but and I also am not expecting complacency from these guys. I
Hmm.
would imagine that they're still mighty hungry to continue this role, right?
Yeah, I don't get the sense at all from these players, and neither does Mario from what he said, in interviews that this is a team that's going to fall prey to, hey, we've got this thing right. Like we can coast now. Obviously, this weekend will be a test because they're going to get on a plane and go, fly to Philadelphia and go play this game over there. But certainly, I think from a hunger perspective, there's a lot of guys who still have a lot to prove, and they know they've got to put a lot of good stuff on tape if they're gonna have a chance to play professionally. So there's a lot of motivating factors there, and I don't expect to drop off this week. I think. If anything, this could be one of those weeks where Miami really impresses the pollsters and goes out and beats a Temple, like 52-0 or something. I think they're capable of doing that.
He held back this past week, right?
Yeah, I think without question, and I think part of it, you got to remember, there were guys hurt, there were guys banged up. He pulled Tyler and Xavier Restrepo at the half. They went to the second and third team early in the third quarter, and so they only ended up scoring, I think, 2 touchdowns in the second half against Bethune, and gave up a late score. So. I think this is again. I think this is the kind of week. I know Temple's 2-1, and they're trying to get things back on the right track over there, but this is the kind of game I could really see Miami flex its muscle and pound a decent Owls team, not a terrible Owls team, into submission.
So let me ask you: did you watch Colorado State?
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it. Certainly, impressed by the fact that Shador Sanders just keeps, putting out these great numbers, and they did it obviously without Travis Hunter, who I think people look at that score and they say, "Man, Colorado State not that good. Why are they playing double overtime with them?" Well, you take Travis Hunter off the field, that's what's going to happen. That's how special a player that guy is. But look, they got the W, and they're 3-0 now. I think Colorado. You look at their future the next couple of weeks. Obviously, tough games with Oregon and USC, but I was encouraged by what I saw and from Colorado, and I think there's a good chance this Colorado team could win 7-8 games this year and make a bowl game and far exceed whatever expectations were given the preseason.
Yeah, Shador and Caleb against each other. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
The two best college quarterbacks pretty much going up against each other. I ask you this because at the beginning of the week, Jay Norvell went after Deion because of the hat and the glasses, and you said you saw bits and pieces of it. If you watched the whole game, it wasn't only the Travis Hunter dirty ass hit. That's the thing that stood out to me, that Jay Norvell's team was dirty, bro. And so
Yeah.
it's, like, amazing to me that you talk all this shit about the guy's glasses and hat, and
Yeah.
then you teach your kids to go out there and take a whole bunch of cheap shots against Colorado. And then on the flip side, I gotta say, I gotta give Deion a lot of credit because he took the high road there, and he still hasn't slammed Jay Norvell after the whole thing, which he should. So I found that to be kind of classless on Norvell's part, that you're whining about glasses and a hat that a coach wears, and meanwhile you're teaching your kids to be a bunch of goons out there.
Yeah, it wasn't his finest moment, certainly. And look, these coaches, man, in desperate times, right? I mean, they're all looking to win in some way, shape, or form. And I told you last week on Friday when you and I spoke, Norvell's 60 years old. He doesn't look it, right? You
Oh,
you
I know.
mentioned there's no way he doesn't even look it. but that this old school mentality, right?
But your petty
And
jealousy is bullshit, dude.
yeah,
That's wrong, man. That's it's not like Deion came in there and said, "Hey, Colorado State sucks. We're gonna own this state," or something. He never said a damn thing about you. Never did nothing. He's not. He. In fact, he doesn't slam anybody. He
yeah,
just talks about his guys, his team, his program, and he brags about it, and that's what he should be doing, and he promotes his own kids, and that's it, and he's good for college football. This is all pure jealousy is what I felt from the Colorado State side. Like,
yeah,
we're the redheaded stepchild and nobody's paying attention to us. Wah, 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 that
yeah.
kind of stuff. That's what bothered me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's look, in the end he lost, right? And that's going to hurt him far more, and the fact that Deion is thriving where he is right now, and who knows how long Deion stays out there in Boulder, but for right now, Jay Norvell is on the short end of the stick when it comes to being able to recruit guys in his own state, and Colorado is the program out there.
No doubt. All right. What do you got going on the athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of recruiting is a very busy time of year. Armando Blunt, I mentioned him earlier, committing to Miami's. We're coming out with our list of the top underclassmen, the high school underclassmen for 2025 and 2026. So I've been working on that this week. Obviously there'll be a new Miami Hurricanes podcast, the Wide Right podcast. I'll be putting that out. I'll be recording it shortly, talking about different stories regarding the Canes and topics, and then we'll have a lot more. Just college football coverage in general, man. I mean, every day there's like 20 new stories on that website, all different kinds of teams, everything that's going on. I'll have an ACC mailbag this week. There'll be ACC power rankings. So we'll get you ready. I mean, we're only a week away from Miami getting done with the non-conference and getting into really what matters, which is winning this conference and getting the program back on a national sort of level where Mario can continue to recruit at an elite level and bring in the kids that he wants here so they can compete for championships.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and catch his work there at The Athletic. Better yet, subscribe like I do. Manny, as always, thank you, my man. We will catch up later on in the week. Talk a little Temple.
All right, brother. Sounds good. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro. Love it. Canes getting ready for Temple, and we are here at Canes. We're 2655 South University Drive in Davie. So come on out here. Remember, you can always use our code BIG010. I never say it enough, BIG010. So you can use it online. And remember, when you order over $99, you'll get free shipping, and you can use our code BIG010. When you come here personally, use our code. Get an Inter-Miami jersey, a Canes jersey, hat. You got Dolphins, hats, shirts, you name it. Inter-Miami, Miami Marlins, Florida Panthers. They got it all here at caneswear.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.